So there's been a congressional inquiry into the Maui fires. We know that there's a current lawsuit right now. However, Congress asked Hawaii Electric CEO to appear in a Maui fire wildfire inquiry. So the House of Energy and Commerce Committee is investigating the deadly Lahaina blaze, which killed several people, and so many of them are still missing that we know of. So we know that the House of Energy and Commerce Committee announced a couple weeks ago that they're launching an investigation into the Hawaiian Electric Company for its role in the deadly wildfires that consumed Lahaina on August 8th, destroying thousands of homes and killing so many people. In a letter addressed to House Energy and Commerce Committee, the Hawaii Public Utilities Commission, and the Hawaii State Energy Office, the office committee chairwoman said that she and her colleagues had a number of concerns about House Energy and Commerce Committee potential culpability in the fire and whether it had done enough to prepare for the catastrophe, given that the officials had known for years that such disaster was a real possibility. The letter notes that there are evidence that a down power line may have been the cause of the blaze that eventually engulfed Lahaina. Now, of course, there are others that have speculated different things and whatnot. Let me know in the comments if y'all feel like this is bigger than power lines. And you guys have been very vocal in my comments about it. But I'm glad that there is going to be the request of a congressional inquiry has been made because there's a lot of unanswered questions. Here we are many days after the fire, many weeks after the fire, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions as to what happened exactly. But Jeremy Lee did update us a couple days ago on this, and let's watch and give some commentary.
Us live from Lahaina this morning, where a congressional inquiry into the fire will compel Hawaiian Electric answer questions it has been unwilling to submit since last month after being sued by Maui County and others. And Jeremy, you've been following this story closely.
The hope is that the House Energy and Commerce Committee is going to be able to get those answers that the press here in Hawaii have been denied. Now, the sun is coming up.
Absolutely. And I hope if the press, independent journalists, YouTubers, whatever bloggers you want to call us. There's so many unanswered questions, and I'm hoping that we'll get some more answers with something independent of course, Pelletier, Bison, and Green, please, independent of these characters.
Over the mountains, and you see Honoapilani Highway northbound behind me. We are north of Lahaina Gateway in the Waikuli section, which also burned at night. And we have new video that we want to show you. This is 9:22 p.m. on the night of the evacuation. Hawaiian Electric crews are still blocking out the route of egress. This is Travis Miller who shot that video. He told us that the gridlock continued and it was so bad, he started to run out of gas, had to get gas from somebody else, and then return to his evacuation. And a lot of questions remain about that. So the subcommittee will have a chance to ask questions as to why paths were blocked also at the southbound Honoapilani Highway during the 5 p.m. hour, working on those utility crews. Now, that's all happening in the nighttime video, 6 hours after the brush fire flare-up had started, 5.5 hours after the fire chief says his men identified the blaze as out of control. KITV4 spoke to numerous witnesses.
The only timeline that I can follow at this point is Jeremy Lee's because it's been very specific and it puts things into perspective as well. And here we are, if you guys remember this photo, we use it as a thumbnail to show the bottleneck situation here, what was happening. And I had somebody from a local comment that, this is exactly what the issue was here in this picture. It's just this bottleneck situation was just so dangerous.
That say half a dozen Maui Police Department roadblocks snarled traffic between 3 and 6 p.m., the height of the self-evacuation when the town was overtaken by the inferno. Chief of Police John Pelletier responded to KITV's inquiry at the press conference saying that they were directing traffic away from dangerous power lines.
Right.
Hawaiian Electric says that those lines were de-energized as of the morning. West Maui residents just want to...
Right. They were, and then they had the roadblocks, and they were telling people to go certain ways, and then they omitted, and then they didn't like they were changing their story. We know what it is. We know what it is. We saw what it was.
No, why is it that valuable time started to tick away as they were stuck in gridlock?
We are not allowed to evacuate yet because we're taking a pole out of the road. There's a line of traffic stopped right there, And so we were basically just waiting for the utilities to clear the way and to let us out. But the highway was blocked north, and our exit onto the highway was also blocked at that time by the police so they could do the utility work. But we couldn't escape the fire while they were doing utility work.
And Hawaiian Electric tweeted, as KITV reported, at 3:55 p.m. that day, the restoration efforts were underway. They were bringing in crews from Oahu, but also in that tweet, they say the incident management team for Hawaiian Electric was in contact with emergency management. Yet Hawaiian Electric trucks, as KITV has shown you again and again, took up lanes during the evacuation that afternoon and at night. And why weren't lanes contraflowed early on? That's another question for
Right. Like, so many great questions.
Maui Emergency Management Agency that we have not been able to get an answer to. Since the first press conference, the mayor had declared that an evacuation order was put in place, but the mayor couldn't follow up by telling us if that was for the afternoon. We knew there was one in the morning. The Facebook page shows one posted at 9:47 at night, but during the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., was there active management of the crisis from MEMA? We're going to continue to ask that question directly to the county. We are slowly getting timid responses, as it were. We're hoping for more.
I don't think we're ever really going to get any responses. There's so many questions that a lot of us have had that have not received any responses. Bless your heart, Jeremy Lee. Bless your heart.
We're also asking the very simple question of this. Between 3 and 6 p.m., who is responsible for calling that emergency evacuation order? What department and what position? For now, we're reporting live here in Waikuli, north of Lahaina Gateway. Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
So I have noticed a lot of less and less reporting about what is going on in terms of the investigation and things that are happening. We're still going to pull and report as much as we can going from the local side. I've been reaching out to a lot of the locals. If you guys are local to the area, and I mean like, the area where the fires were impacted, please send me an email, shoot me an email, and let me know how you guys are doing, or if there's anything in particular that you want to share, whether it's an email of how things are going or how things are getting about, because there's still people that need help and support. And so, I mean, it would be good to understand kind of what people try to downplay this like it was some situation. It was not a big deal. And when it was. And these officials, in my opinion, are trying to cover their asses in so many ways. Just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out.